Hi there. Okay, guys, so we're ready for a new installment of our Dinosaurs Before Dark. So we're ready to read chapter 5 and 6. So when we last were reading it, Jack and Annie were looking at the pteranodon, right? And then Annie all of a sudden started pointing over a hill and said, oh, what's that? It says Annie was pointing toward the hill. On top stood a huge dinosaur. Now, before I start, I want to mention that I was saying that Charlie P is our resident dinosaur professional, know everything about dinosaurs. Well, I forgot all about Harry. Harry knows all about dinosaurs he always knows the names of dinosaurs. He was a dinosaur for Halloween. He wears his dinosaur jackets. So I'm sorry, Harry. I forgot all about you. All right, so here we go. Chapter 5, Gold in the Grass. Okay, so put your listening ears on. Okay, here we go. Go, go, said Jack. He threw his notebook into his pack. He pushed Annie toward the rope ladder. Bye, Henry, she said. So remember, they're on the ground right now. Go, said Jack. He gave Annie a big push. Quit it, she said, but she started up the ladder. Jack scrambled after her. They tumbled into the treehouse. They were panting as they looked out the window at the dinosaur. This is the new dinosaur they saw. He was standing on the hilltop, eating flowers off a tree. Oh, man, whispered Jack. We are in a long time ago. The dinosaur looked like a huge rhinoceros. Only he had 3 horns instead of 1. Wonder which one it is. 2 long ones above his eyes and 1 on his nose. He had a big shield-like thing behind his head. Triceratops, said Jack. Does he eat people? Asked Annie. I'll look it up. Jack grabbed the dinosaur book. He flipped through the pages. There, he said. He pointed to a picture of a triceratops. He read the caption. The Triceratops lived in the late Cretaceous period. This plant-eating dinosaur weighed over 12,000 pounds. Jack slammed the book shut. Just plants, no meat. Let's go see him, said Annie. Are you nuts? Said Jack. Don't you want to take notes about him? Asked Annie. We're probably the first people in the whole world to ever see a real live Triceratops. Jack sighed. She was right. Let's go, he said. He shoved the dinosaur book into his pack. He slung it over his shoulder and started down the ladder. On the way down, Jack stopped. He called up to Annie. Just promise you won't pet him. I promise. Promise you won't kiss him. I promise. Promise you won't talk to him. I promise. Promise you won't. Go, go, she said. Jack went. Annie followed. When they stepped off the ladder, the pteranodon gave them a kind look. Annie blew a kiss at him. Be back soon, Henry, she said cheerfully. Shh, said Jack, and he led the way through the ferns, slowly and carefully. When he reached the bottom of the hill, he kneeled behind a fat bush. Annie knelt beside him and started to speak. Shh! Jack put his fingers to his lips. Annie made a face. Jack peeked out at the Triceratops. The dinosaur was incredibly big, bigger than a truck. He was eating the flowers off of a magnolia tree. Jack slipped his notebook out of his pack. He wrote, Eats flowers. Annie nudged him. Jack ignored her. He studied the Triceratops again. He wrote, Eats slowly. Annie nudged him hard. Jack looked at her. Annie pointed to herself. She walked her fingers through the air. She pointed to the dinosaur. She smiled. Was she teasing? She waved at Jack. Jack tried to grab her. She laughed and jumped away. She fell into the grass in full view of the Triceratops. Get back, whispered Jack. Too late. The big dinosaur had spotted Annie. He gazed down at her from the from the hilltop. Half of the magnolia flower was sticking out of his mouth. Oops, said Annie. Get back, Jack shouted at her. He looks nice, Jack. Nice? Watch out for his horns, Annie. No, he's nice, Jack. Nice? But the Triceratops just gazed calmly down at Annie. Then he turned and loped away down the side of the hill. "Bye," said Annie. She turned back to Jack. "See?" Jack grunted, but he wrote in his notebook, "Nice." This is the picture we have. This must be when the Triceratops starts walking away. "Come on, let's look around some more," said Annie. As Jack started after Annie, he saw something glittering in the tall grass. He reached out and picked it up. A medallion, a gold medallion. See, he's got this in his hand. A medallion. It's like a gold coin. See it in his hand? It's got an M on it. M. For medallion, and Maddie, and Maisie, and Mom. A letter was engraved on the medallion, a fancy M. "Oh, man, someone came here before us," Jack said. Chapter 6, Dinosaur Valley. Valley's like something that goes down between the mountains. "Annie, look at this," Jack called. "Look what I found." Annie had gone up to the hilltop. She was busy picking a flower from the magnolia tree. "Annie, look, a medallion." But Annie wasn't paying attention to Jack. She was staring at something on the other side of the hill. "Oh, wow," she said. "Annie!" Clutching her magnolia flower, she took off down the hill. "Annie, come back," Jack shouted. But Annie had disappeared. "I'm going to kill her," Jack muttered. He stuffed the gold medallion into his jeans pocket. Then he heard Annie shriek. That's like a loud yell. "Annie?" Jack heard another sound as well, a deep, bellowing sound like a tuba. "Jack, come here," Annie called. "Annie!" Jack grabbed his backpack and raced up the hill. When he got to the top, he gasped. The valley below was filled with nests, big nests made out of mud, and the nests were filled with tiny dinosaurs. Look, see inside of those holes? I guess those are nests. See the baby dinosaurs? Annie was crouching next to one of the nests, and standing over her was a gigantic duck-billed dinosaur. "Don't panic. Don't move," said Jack. He stepped slowly down the hill toward Annie. The huge dinosaur was towering above Annie, waving her arms, making her tuba sound. A tuba is a musical instrument. Jack stopped. He didn't want to get too close. He knelt on the ground. "Okay. Move toward me slowly," he said. Annie started to stand up. "Don't stand. Crawl," said Jack. Clutching her flower, Annie crawled toward Jack. The duck-billed dinosaur followed her, still bellowing. Annie froze. "Keep going," Jack said softly. Annie started crawling again. Jack inched further down the hill until he was just an arm's distance from Annie. He reached out and grabbed her hand. He pulled Annie toward him. "Stay down," he said. He crouched next to her. "Bow your head and pretend to chew." "Chew?" "Yes, I read that's what you do if a mean dog comes at you." "She's no dog, Jack," said Annie. "Just chew," said Jack. Jack and Annie both bowed their heads and pretended to chew. Soon the dinosaur grew quiet. Jack raised his head. "I don't think she's mad anymore," he said. "Thanks, Jack, for saving me," said Annie. "You have to use your brain," said Jack. "You can't just go running to a nest of babies. There's always a mother nearby." Annie stood up. "Annie!" Too late. Annie held out her magnolia flower to the dinosaur. "I'm sorry I made you worry about your baby," she said. The dinosaur moved closer to Annie. She grabbed the flower from her. She reached for another. "No more," said Annie. The dinosaur let out a sad tuba sound. "But there are more flowers up there," Annie said. She pointed to the top of the hill. "I'll get you some more." Annie hurried up the hill. The dinosaur waddled after her. Jack quickly examined the babies. Some were crawling out of their nests. Where were the other mothers? Jack took out the dinosaur book. He flipped through the pages. He found a picture of some duck-billed dinosaurs. He read the caption. The Anatosauruses, hope I said that right, lived in colonies, while a few mothers babysat the nests. Others hunted for food. So there must be more mothers close by. "Hey, Jack!" Annie called. Jack looked up. Annie was at the top of the hill, feeding magnolia flowers to the giant Anatosauruses. To the giant Anatosaurus. "She's nice too, Jack," Annie said. But suddenly the Anatosaurus made her terrible tuba sound. Annie crouched down and started to chew. The dinosaur barged down the hill. She seemed afraid of something. Jack put the book down on top of his pack. He hurried up to Annie. So the dinosaur is hurrying back down to the nest. Annie's pretending to be chewing the grass, and Jack runs over to Annie. So I wonder why the dinosaur is running away. Any ideas? "I wonder why she ran away," said Annie. "We were starting to be friends." Jack looked around. What he saw in the distance almost made him throw up. An enormous, ugly monster was coming across the plain. He was walking on 2 big legs and swinging a long, thick tail and dangling 2 little arms. He had a huge head and his jaws were wide open. Even from far away, Jack could see his long, gleaming teeth. What kind of dinosaur do you think that is? "A Tyrannosaurus Rex," whispered Jack. Okay, so until next time. Chapter 7 is the next time. Okay, guys, I'll see you later. Have a good night. So don't forget, what do I say? Listen to your parents. Don't fight with your brothers and sisters. I love you.